Today on R&R on Sports, Larry and Howard react to the Spanish women's soccer team controversy, the NCAA's demise, and more. Then we hear a throwback interview with Rashad McCants. All of this and more on this week's episode of R&R on Sports. Now, here are your hosts, Larry Robinson and Howard Robertson.
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. I'm Howard Robertson.
And I am the other R, which is Larry Robinson. What's happening, man?
Everything's lovely, man. We must tell people that R&R on Sports is proudly brought to them
by
AARP.
Did you get your card?
Did I get my card?
Yeah.
Man, I got a platinum.
You got a platinum?
What is you talking about?
AARP card?
Heck yeah.
Oh, okay, well, go on with
I've
your
been a member
self.
in good snap. Let me see. What is it? 50?
50.
Okay.
If you over 50.
Right.
And so you've had your card for about
21 years.
21
years. Yes, sir.
Well, I'm
yes,
brand
sir.
new in the game.
And proud to be able to say that.
I got a blue card. I got a little red
You a freshman.
plastic card.
Yeah.
They ain't gave me the platinum version yet.
So everybody log on to aarp.org/black community for more information of all the incredible stuff they're doing. How you doing?
Man, I'm wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Good.
Man,
good,
but
good.
I'm doing a lot better than my man over in Spain.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. So you think what about that?
Well, they just won the World Cup.
Okay.
And the guy was really exuberant and
Over exuberant.
you know, and he just got caught up. That's
Right.
what it looked like to me.
Right.
Looked like he got caught up.
Right.
You know, I just wish he'd have said I'm sorry and left it at that and kept on moving.
I think he did.
Well, then he got defensive. Then he said she started some stuff. And, you know, and I'm just like, wait a minute now. You can't get defensive when you basically force somebody to kiss on the lips. But
Force yourself on. Yeah.
You can't get defensive. That's one of them, man, my bad. I messed up. Send us some flowers, send us some chocolate, and say, you know, listen, let's squash this. I am totally sorry.
Man, you know that sounded really, really sexist, right?
No, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to sound sexist. What I meant.
Flowers,
no, what I meant was to say. I know. I'm saying, you know, be
There's
repentant.
women all over America that just kick their radio off the table.
I'm just saying, be repent.
What is he talking about? Repent. Chocolate and stuff.
And say, you know, but a gesture of, you know, apology is what I was so getting to.
And that's always the first thing. But I'm going to tell you something. Having been in the business I'm in for 50 years, I can tell you that is the hardest thing for certain people to do, and that's own it. When you screw up, and I tell them all the time and have for years, the first thing you do is own it and apologize. Then guess what? Nobody can beat you up anymore because you owned it. Yeah, I did it. I'm sorry. I lost my whatever. Okay. And but don't make excuses. Don't deflect in terms of what she did. It's nothing that she did.
No, it's nothing at all that she did.
Ain't nothing that she did, but be there.
Yeah, well.
Be in the wrong place, obviously the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But as somebody with a wife and a daughter, I understand what happened. But I think it's too.
Now, let me ask you this.
They've been over the top with the reaction. If he apologizes, well, given that he apologized and owned it, I think they ought to let it go.
Well, listen, on the other side, man, we gonna pick this conversation back up because, you know, I've been in the place, and now I'll just say God's other children, because that's not a cultural thing that black people typically embark on.
Tell them what you mean.
Is kissing on the lips.
Okay.
So when we're gonna talk about that piece on the other side, because that's different.
Some
I mean,
ethnic cultural
differences. Listen, this is R&R on Sports, and we will be right back. Don't go nowhere, because we're going to heat these lines up a little bit more. And ladies, you might end up kicking the radio even some more. Just stay right there.
Try to plug the radio back in, please.
R&R on Sports.
Riffin' on jazz.
But she was a sheriff's deputy
Where?
in Detroit.
In Detroit. Oh, my God. You can't be no punk for that.
And ended up playing a flute.
Riffin' on jazz on the Kazookian Network.
This is Jeopardy! Today we have Al, a pharmaceutical rep from Louisville, Chris, a radio announcer from Memphis, and Regis A., retired CIA agent from Possum Booty.
Yeah, Mississippi.
Our Sports Jeopardy categories today are Dream Teams, Speed Demons, Pick Hits, and Same Name. Remember, your answer must be in the form of a question. We'll start with Chris.
Thank you. I'll take Speed Demons for 100.
Speed Demons for $100. The answer is the NFL player with the fastest 40 time ever in the NFL Combine. Regis.
Now, was that after the NFL combined with the AFL?
No. Chris.
Who was Bo Jackson?
That is correct.
What the hell is he talking about? I'll take Speed Demons for 200.
Speed Demons for $200. The answer is he's the fastest in the world. Regis.
Any fool know that'd be Jesse Owens.
That's incorrect. Al.
Who is Usain Bolt?
That is correct.
Who the hell is Butane Coat?
I'll take Pick Hits for 200.
Pick Hits for $200. The answer is the teams that passed over Michael Jordan in the 1984 draft before he was picked by the Bulls. Regis.
That'd be everybody else.
Incorrect. Al.
Who were the Houston Rockets and the Portland Trailblazers?
That is correct.
They ain't paying no attention to me whatsoever.
I'll take Same Name for 500, please.
Same name for $500. The answer is the same last name of 3 Heisman Trophy winners since 1974. Oh my God, Regis, did you just shoot a gun?
Sure did. My beeper ain't working. Y'all shut up. But I got the answer. I mean the question. What was Griffin?
That is correct. Thank you for tuning in to Jeopardy! The show will be taking a 2-week hiatus as we effect repairs on the ceiling of our studios, caused by the blast of a sawed-off shotgun. Paramedics will be standing outside the studio to tend to any wounds caused by falling ceiling tiles. Thank you for joining us.
Community is more than where you live. It's the people in it who go above and beyond to help it thrive.
During the 50th anniversary of hip-hop and the 75th anniversary of Black radio, and year-round, AARP recognizes people, members, volunteers, and partners giving back to our communities. We believe when our efforts drive change for the greater good, we all thrive together. To learn more about how AARP supports efforts to keep our communities thriving, visit aarp.org/Black Community.
That's aarp.org/Black Community.
Hey, this is Dr. J, and you're listening to a little R&R on Sports.
We got a little song for you. You ready?
Let's do it.
Luis and Jenny sitting in a tree. KISSING. That you only gonna hear that on R&R on Sports. Nowhere else can you hear that. We're talking about
Luis Rubiales and Jenny,
soccer player Jenny Hermosa.
So Luis got a little excited. Just to catch everybody up, Luis got a little excited.
He's president of the Royal Spanish Football Foundation.
And they won the World Cup. The Spanish women's team won the World Cup.
Sure did.
And in the midst of the celebration that takes place afterwards, just like, you know, on the football, when everybody goes to the stage and talks and they hand them the trophy and all that good stuff, he's kissing every woman that comes up, every player that comes up,
but
on
like
the
on
stage,
the cheek, the European,
on the cheek, yeah,
the European, kind
the
of
European kiss. However, when the star player gets up, Miss Hermosa, he kisses her on the lips and he grabs her face and plants one right on her lips. Now, it didn't seem to be too bad until it kept being stoked. It kept being stoked. It kept being stoked. Jenny went from it wasn't a big deal to I really didn't like it. Now, what you got to say about that? What you got to say about that?
Well, as someone like yourself that's in the PR business,
Okay.
I think that I thought I heard some kind of apology or whatever, but it was a defensive, deflective kind of apology.
Yes.
Meaning I didn't, it was harmless.
Right.
I didn't mean anything by it or whatever.
Right.
But what you say first is you own it. You say, I am sorry. I did that.
Yes.
I am sorry. I didn't. And then you say, you apologize first, and then you say, there was nothing meant by it. It wasn't, but it was out of place and I shouldn't have done it. So, as I understand that, it didn't happen that way in terms of the way it came down.
It did not.
And he started making excuses and all of that stuff.
So it went downhill from there.
Oh yeah, because folks are now really calling for his head. Some players are, some Spanish teams are saying that they won't play anymore until he's
relieved of his duties.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting to me is that now they've opened a criminal investigation, what I've heard, into this incident.
Wow.
And so this cat, by not apologizing initially and being defensive, has really allowed this to snowball. Now, what we were talking about before we went to the break was that other cultures seem to be free with the kissing on the lips.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had an incident where I have a friend of mine whose wife is of another culture, and every time I saw them, she would proceed to kiss me in the mouth. And I literally went to my friend and said, would you please have a conversation with your wife not to kiss me in the mouth? I feel very uncomfortable. And so I understand.
I had a similar situation. My wife was in corporate with Holiday Inns Worldwide some years ago. And there was somebody who had the bad habit of, I know he didn't mean anything by it, but that, to your point, there's something about that within our culture with somebody, especially, they think it's okay.
Yeah.
We don't typically.
No, that's not something that really works in the black culture.
I had to pull his coat and get him.
Did you really?
Straight. Yeah.
Did you have to tighten him up?
Well, it was sure to tighten him up. I had to tighten him up in terms of protocols and understanding that I'm just 20 minutes out of South Memphis, and I have flashbacks. And I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go there.
But no, man, and literally, it's a cultural thing, and I find it kind of weird because I've known the Spanish culture as well as the Italian culture. Has always,
Italians a bit.
Has always been very PDA friendly, and also the kissing on the lips.
I know black women that have been in Italy, some parts of Italy, walking down the street, and Italians will come up and stop them on the street and kiss them. Or try to kiss them. Yeah. Wow. I know that. I know what that happened a few times. But at any rate, I think they ought to let it go and whatnot. But I don't think they will.
No,
I think they're dug in now, and that's their Me Too moment.
Right. That's what I've heard, is that this is Spain's Me Too moment.
Yeah.
The patriarchal society as we have in America, is coming to an end to a great degree.
So I think but to me, that's indicative of stuff getting out of control.
Yeah.
That doesn't need to be. And that segues perfectly into the NCAA. NCAA is so out of control to me with that. It is crazy.
So college sports is literally becoming club sports, and club sport becoming in a low-level professional sport.
Absolutely.
And that's literally what's it's happening right before our eyes.
And at some levels it ain't so low.
Right.
In terms of the cost, in terms of NIL deals and all of that.
Right. I mean, man, you got cats driving around on college campuses with Lamborghinis,
Lord
Mercedes,
have mercy. Are you
Rolls
kidding
Royces.
me?
I mean, yes, I'm telling you the truth. I mean, there are quarterbacks and other players that literally are raking in millions of dollars in playing college sports. And so to me, that right there says this is big boys now.
Right.
These are big boy games. And really, is there a need for the National Collegiate Amateurs Athletic Association?
Well, I think there is, from the standpoint of some kind of oversight and some kind of rules and regs and whatnot. This stuff shouldn't have gone as wide open. It's the wild, wild west out here, Larry.
Yeah. And
you can make all kinds of money. All of the teams there's a surge out of the Pac-12 to the Big Ten or the Big 12.
Yeah.
Even some leaving the Big 12 go to the SEC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the SEC, man. I mean, that's amateur league. Well, I won't even call it amateur. That's low league football. I mean,
absolutely.
that's the.
Why does Texas and Oklahoma need to be in the Southeastern Conference?
G League. It's the G League, man. The SEC is the G League for the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, period, point blank.
Yeah,
and I would say that's one division, and the other division is probably the Big 10 or the Big 12. Because because they're paying the players are getting NIL deals. Players can transfer now as much as they want to without any penalty.
That's crazy.
So you have this transfer portal, which what they don't talk about is how many kids are left in the transfer portal. They said in college basketball, it was maybe like close to 1,100 kids went into the transfer portal.
Right.
And now there's some in excess of maybe 300 to 400 kids that are still in the transfer portal. So, I mean, you're talking about, kids being kids and that, man, something's not going right, I'm just going to quit. And here we are. They're quitting,
which kids want to do all the time.
But there was guardrails. There was guardrails, and it helped you to man up. It was like, okay, either I got to sit out a year or I got to suck this up and actually get out here and show these guys that I deserve to play.
How many of us, freshman year particularly, go to college and then I don't know, how you doing? I think I want to transfer. I want to go to
right.
And what were you told? I said that because I thought I wanted to go to Morehouse.
Right.
And my dad said, no,
you keep your butt right there.
No. Yeah, that's where you are. Right. That's where you chose. That's where you're going to finish.
Right. That's exactly what my parents was like. You go keep your butt in Frankfurt at Kentucky State.
Absolutely.
And that was the end of that.
Absolutely. And so with that, I mean, it's all, so yes, I think NCAA or some kind of organization with some teeth need to provide some controls. And
maybe there's a players union. Maybe there's a marriage between a college players union and
but the players
NCAA.
Union is not the answer, Larry.
Well, I'm just saying it's got to be
it's going to be all about the players, and it's all about the players now.
All about the players now, but the NBA, let's just use the NBA. The NBA and the NBA Players Association kind of work together to create a set of rules that we all can live by.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that needs to happen again. There needs to be some entity representing the collegiate players, and some entity representing the league and the NCAA, and so that they can come up with rules that really does not or eliminates or at least mitigates this wild, wild west
it's a mess
type of thing. But it is a mess.
And with that, we're going to segue into our interview.
Man.
The interview is with Rashad McCants, and he's going to talk about a lot of stuff, and particularly college sports. So
never knew all that was going on at UNC.
Yeah.
All right.
Stick and stay. R&R on Sports on the Kazukian Network. Back after this.
Kazukian. The company is based in Memphis, but it is international.
A new building, an expanded team, new equipment, a new studio, all inside of 7 years.
The resources that we were able to utilize with Kazukian and their team has been incredible. And our partners at Kazukian has been a large part of our success.
One, it's Black owned, so we get to tell our own stories in our own way.
With social media and the technology we have today, the world is listening.
Kazukian. Check out all your Kazukian favorites now. Download the Kazukian app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports.
Back.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Just something about falsetto that just turned you on.
Me, Prince, Michael Jackson.
Smokey Robinson.
Yeah,
everybody sang high. Go ahead.
There it is.
Go ahead.
That's
Can
good
you
enough.
finish?
That's good enough.
Good
we got
enough.
a guest on the line, bro.
All right. We are pleased to have with us former NBA player selected in the first round by the Minnesota Timberwolves back in 2005. But even more than that, North Carolina Tar Heel star.
National champion.
That's right. Brother Rashad McCants, welcome to R&R on Sports.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Sure. Glad to have you, man.
It was a grand entrance right there. Thank you for that little rundown.
Yeah, well, I had to keep it brief because we want you to bring us up. Now we can give you this lead in, okay? The lead in is that you are from Asheville, North Carolina, and went to high school there, but finished, I think, up in New Hampshire.
Yes, sir.
Before going to UNC. Now, I'm going to tell you.
He was a McDonald All-American, too, now. Put some respect on his name, bro.
Okay,
just a little bit.
There it is. See, I told you he's going to back me up. See, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Well, congratulations on all of that. But talk to us about just the decision to go to UNC, and talk to us a little bit about what happened when you got there. Famed program and all of that. Might have been a dream come true with you being from North Carolina, was it?
Oh, man, there's a lot that went into it. Just recollecting all of the memories. Back then, around that time, I was a Duke fan.
Were you?
Wow.
Yeah, that was the Shane Battier, Jason Williams, Mike Dunleavy year. They were really good, and Shane Battier was kind of like my favorite player. It's like ideal how I wanted to play when I got to college, be the leader, be the winner, and also take over the game whenever I needed to. And that's what kind of player that I kind of formed myself to be. On top of just having a very premier skill set, I wanted to be the ultimate team player as well. So J.J. Riddick was a good friend of mine coming up.
Wow.
And he had committed to Duke, and it was between Virginia and Duke for him because he was from Virginia.
Right.
And he ended up choosing Duke, so I couldn't go to Duke at that. As soon as he did it, it was like I got to choose another school. And Carolina at the time was 8-20.
Right.
They were the worst they've ever been.
That's when they brought in Matt Doherty, right?
Well, that was Matt Doherty's year.
Okay.
It was his second year. He had won Coach of the Year his first year with Joseph Forte.
Okay.
And then Forte went on to the league. And then that next year, they tanked it. So my junior year, I really wanted to go to Carolina first, but then they stopped recruiting me because I got a technical foul while dunking in the game and slapping the backboard.
Wait a minute, stop. Pause right there. They stopped recruiting you because you dunked in the game and smacked the backboard?
Yeah, I was when I was in high school, I was a real animal. I was a monster to all my opponents. So intimidation was my main component. Punking guys, intimidating guys, screaming after every dunk. And so in that game, it was a big intimidation factor. So I got 2 technical fouls and got ejected. And I remember Coach Quarterbaum was at the game watching, and he went back and told him, man, he's not our guy.
Okay.
So I set out at that point to really just prove to them that I am the guy. I'm the number one shooting guard in the country.
Right.
Ain't nobody better than me. So that whole next year, going into my senior year, just proved that I was that guy, and I wanted to go to Carolina. Now it was on my radar to just beat Michael Jordan. Now it was like, okay, Michael Jordan is the greatest. How do I surpass his greatness? I got to go to his school, break all his records.
Right. Okay.
All right.
And so if I do that and then going into the NBA, I'm already going to have the expectation to surpass him even more because I just did it at his school. So it puts me right on track for my own prophecy that my dad gave me when I was little. So that's pretty much why I went to Carolina, why I chose that particular school and not Oklahoma or Texas or UCLA, because the greatest player to ever play was playing at that school, and I wanted to beat him out.
This is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with the monster, the basketball superstar, former Parade All-American, Rashad McCants.
So, what in high school, what kind of student were you?
I had 1120 on my SATs.
Go ahead, man. Is that right?
Yeah, man. When I was my freshman, sophomore year in Irwin, in Asheville, North Carolina, I wasn't very focused on school, although I was very smart.
You think about
basketball? I was more, girls and
ball,
lifting and ball and all that kind of man stuff.
Right.
And once I had the opportunity to, pretty much advance my basketball career, I got an opportunity to go play at boarding school in New Hampshire.
Okay.
And that was a educational decision because the grades that I had in my sophomore year in a public school wasn't good enough to get into a university.
Okay.
And so I had just been offered a scholarship by Clemson. It was my first offer that I got my sophomore year. And I was so excited, ready to accept it. And Dad was like, nah, we're going to wait it out. And I ended up going to prep school for 2 years where I could really focus on academics and really get hands-on with teachers.
Right.
And I went from like a 620 SAT to 1120 SAT.
Wow.
And I could go to any school in the country that I wanted.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
So you go to North Carolina. Tell us a little bit talk about the culture there, man. What's it like for a young cat to show up at highly regarded and highly recruited, as I guess most all their players are. You show up at UNC. Talk to us about the culture.
I'm gonna walk y'all through it like I seen it.
Okay.
And I seen it play out. For me, I had the expectation of he got game with Ray Allen.
Right.
And that was my expectation. So when I did get there, I got that treatment in my official visit where you go down and get the girls and you do your thing, you party, and you're like, this is college life.
Yes,
Right? And so I only took one official visit, which was Carolina. I never took a visit to any other school in the country.
You were young. You were one and done, huh?
I was ready to go. I knew what I was there for. I'm here for this. I don't want to go nowhere else. Michael Jordan is the goal. You can't top that.
Okay.
Right.
So what was I?
So you're at school, you on campus, you're at your recruit visit, everything. You got your one visit out, and now you're at University of North Carolina, first day of classes.
Man, first day of classes, everyone you the new Raymond with the Three Musketeers, here to save the day. And so for us, everyone knew us. We were the freshmen phenoms. Couldn't wait for everyone to get there. So we were either the three kings or the three gods, or I don't know what you want to call it.
But things came in three, I guess you could say.
Man, we were the guys, and we were there to change everything in the Carolinas' whole, their whole prestige about their whole program. So, it was like he got game, just like kind of like they mapped it more so like blue chips too.
Right.
Where the whole, the classes, like I'm coming from the 1120 SAT, being in class, being engaged, really wanting to learn, to not having to go to class at all.
Now,
Wait a
wait,
minute,
wait. I want to
like
know
it
about
not,
that.
Like it not being a big deal at all. Like, yeah, we got the test, we got the cheat sheet, boo boo boo, and it was just what it was. It was like, yeah, that ain't what we here for.
Now, how that was communicated to you guys from whom?
The players communicated it with us.
Oh,
so they kind of
the
was the
players.
culture. It was a culture indoctrinating you guys to the culture. Was
Yeah,
like,
that
look,
was the
guys, you
warning.
realize you don't have to
You
go.
ain't gotta go
You
to
ain't got to go
class.
to class.
Yeah. It's like it's the camaraderie warning from the upperclassmen to tell you, man, look, this how I go, this how it is. It can be smooth sailing for you. You can make it a real problem.
By showing up for
By
class.
showing up for class.
By
trying to
fucking it
do
up for
work.
everybody else. You the only one in class every day. Everybody trying to get some extra sleep. You the only one showing up. Now we all in here at 6 a.m. because of you.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So wow, this was very complicit. So this was complicit on so many levels. It was the school, because they know you guys aren't going to class. It was the team, because the players were enforcing that you don't go to class. And now you got yourself saying, well, wait a minute. I don't even, as a young man, I ain't even got to go to class. So how do you buck that system?
And I really want to learn something.
Right.
I really would like to learn something.
That's the part where it's like, I really want to be psychology major. I really want to do engineering. Nah. You ain't got time for them classes. Those are very time-consuming classes. We have your classes picked out for you.
So you don't even select your own classes. That's done for you.
You can select your electives.
Okay.
Drama class.
Yeah.
Exercise, sports science, geography.
These are some real layup classes. These are some real
paper. If you see a
paper.
girl that you like in one of them classes, you can change it to her class.
Oh, okay. And tutors are provided.
Oh yeah, there's a sports program. The whole program provides tutors because they gotta do that.
Right.
They can't just let you filter on your own.
Wow.
So do your tutors, did they keep you up on what was happening in class, even though you didn't have to go to say, well, here's what they're doing now?
There was a system already in place for years prior that hadn't changed. So they knew when the test was going to be. They knew what it was going to be about. They knew what the paper was going to be about. We already did 10 papers, so you just pick the paper.
How much time did you spend with your tutor on average a week?
No, we all met the tutors at the same place. Back when I was in school, the tutor came to the gym, and we were in the locker room in the lounge. And we all sat in there for about 45 minutes trying to figure out what the next test was, whatever. We all sat around. There was no studying. It was never no studying. Up until Roy Williams got there was a real study hall implemented, and they kind of forced guys to do things in a certain manner just because he was new and he needed that filter. But he was already told not the whole flow of everything that was going on.
Wow.
And he did it anyway, which is why it blew the roof off of everything, because Roy refused to keep going in that direction.
This is R&R on Sports, and we're speaking with NCAA champion, 2005 champion, North Carolina, Rashad McCants, as well as NBA player Rashad McCants. And we're going to be right back, and we're going to dig into this with Roy Williams and what actually went down when the top was blown off the situation in University of North Carolina. So listen, stay right there because we got some real cool stuff to talk about on the other side. We'll be right back with R&R on Sports.
Human Speed with Kirk Whalum.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, now I'm going to say my friend, Jonathan Capehart.
You came up and tapped me on my shoulder and you said, I'm a big fan. My name's Kirk Whalum. And I just about jumped out of my skin because I was like, wait, Kirk Whalum is saying hi to me? He's a fan of mine? Get out of here.
Human Speed with Kirk Whalum.
Back with R&R on Sports. And we're talking to Rashad McCants about his experience as a major D1, not only a major D1 player, but member of the national championship team, NCAA. And that's got to be a fun. Let me ask you something. We talked about your first day there, but typically going to college for most of us as a freshman, they consider freshmen a lower form of human life. So everybody's, look, either turning their nose up or ignoring you. What's it like to be? How are you treated by the other students who know full well who and what you are on that campus? Although it's probably 35,000 people on campus, but how do other students, especially upperclassmen, look at you? Or
it's hard to explain it because there is such admiration there when it comes to just fanatics. They're fanatics about the sport, the school, the tradition, and then you look at us and we're there and we're not normal freshmen. We big ass 6'4", 6'10". You know what I'm saying? We're not normal people, so the girls flocked to us, dropped their panties how they could. The guys wanted to give us their girls just so they would be in the same room with us. And the teachers, they didn't care if we, showed up or not, as long as we turned the program around. Everybody was so passionate about the tradition. And so for us, we was the saviors.
Wow. So basketball was and possibly still is everything at UNC. Is that a correct statement?
Well, you got to understand how small it is. When we look inward, we think that it's the universe of the whole sports mecca because of that one guy who went there and how we propelled the tradition to keep winning. So when you look at it from the outside looking in, you're like, that's North Carolina. Everybody should know about that.
Right.
And so from the inside looking out, it's such a small space. Like when things started coming out about me when I was there, I stopped realizing that I'm in this small ass little town that has national recognition. So really, people don't know about what's going on until it's blasted out.
Right.
So the magnifying glass is always on the best player at this school if they have one, and we just happened to be that. So everything was magnified.
Wow.
I'm saying times a million.
This is Our Own Sports, and we're speaking with former NBA player Rashad McCants. Rashad, you made comments about Roy Williams in that as a coach, he's a great coach, and at deserving the Hall of Fame and everything that's coming to him. But as a man, I don't have anything to say.
Right.
That's a pretty strong statement.
Absolutely.
What happened with you and Roy Williams and you all's relationship that made you sour on it?
And at the same time, walk us through and walk all our listeners through the controversy.
Right. So Roy and I hit heads my sophomore year after Coach Matt Doherty had been fired. And it had been said and rumored that it was all because of me. And because Matt Doherty didn't agree with the fact that I couldn't play defense and all this other stuff. But the reality was that Coach Doherty wanted to control the team and all the players on the team. And he had this plantation style way of doing it, with breaking the players through pushing their buttons and just, trying to exhaust that mental. And so he could never do that with me. And that friction caused him to try to, have me see psychologists, psychiatrists, to see if there was something wrong with me, if I had some type of imbalance. And I would always come out on the other side where the psychologist was like, this dude is almost like a genius or something. Was like, I don't understand what your problem is with him, but he doesn't have a problem.
So they would send you to these specialists in order to try to ascertain if you had some kind of mental or psychological problem.
Right, because they couldn't break me. So the little mechanism coaches use to break players, where they make them run, scream at them, all that did not work to me at all. My dad was one of the ruthless more ruthless black men I've ever encountered. So all the stuff he was doing, it was like, man, if you knew my daddy, you would laugh at how you coming at me right now. So I just had a straight face with a lot of things, and I was always respectful. Yes, sir. Yes, coach. I'm gonna do what it is you ask, but you want me to feel the way you want me to feel, that ain't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna run these sprints with a smile on my face. Let's go, blue. Let's go, white.
Yeah.
Let's go, team. Let's keep kicking their ass.
Right.
They couldn't stand that about me. And that's where the conflict between me and Roy came in.
So when did you know it? When did it go south with you and Roy?
Immediately. The first day of practice.
Oh, really?
First day of practice, we had ESPNU come in to film a special on our team because he was there. He had just lost to Syracuse the year before, and it was a whole big deal him being there. And we were in practice one day, and one of the walk-ons were guarding me, and he was so overexcited. We're doing a drill, and he's tripping me up, fouling me, all this kind of stuff. I turn around, I look at him like, "What's up, bro? You all right?" And Coach Williams caught me in that moment, and he just went ballistic on camera.
On camera.
On camera. This is not last year. This is not your team. This is my team. You're not going to do any of this. Now, we just had a meeting in the locker room about how everyone has a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
And then this what he did on national TV. So that was the first indication for me that, you believe I got Coach Doherty fired. I don't know what he told you, but I'm the only player that decided to stay here after every other player on our team threatened to transfer if Coach Doherty wasn't fired.
Wow.
No one knows these facts because nobody cares about what's really going on inside the inside.
Right.
But, I mean, for me, in my time at Carolina, I'm still not done at what needs to happen on just paying
You were on a
respect.
mission. You were on a mission.
Paying respect to what had happened to resurrect that program. I did to resurrect it.
So talk about blowing the top off of the academic aspect of it. How did that come to play?
Well, for a long time, I've been trying to get my story out personally, just about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And they feared that for a long time because there's a lot of things that happened to me while I was there nobody wants the public to know.
Mm-hmm.
So when the opportunity came to talk about education reform, which is my career at the time, was right in that path where we were doing foundations and coming up with different curriculums that can give athletes better sports information as far as finance and management, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So then Mary Willingham and Deontay Williams did a behind what you call that on HBO?
Outside the
Lines.
Outside the Lines. Yeah, they did it Outside the Lines, and I watched it, and it was on the Carolina football team and how they, did the whole academic situation, and I was curious. As soon as I seen it, I said, "Well, how the hell did the basketball team skip over this?"
Right.
When we started that program.
Wow. This is R&R Sports, and we're speaking with former North Carolina basketball player Rashad McCants.
And so after realizing that we was going to get away with that, I reached out to Mary, and I said, "Man, what's going on?" And she said, "Well, this is everything that we're talking about. We could really use your help, bringing some light to what's really going on." And so at the time, I was supposed to be with the Ed O'Bannon case, with the likeness in the EA Sports, that suit, but I couldn't get on in time. And so I was a big proponent of that side of the education reform and the sports reform as far as getting compensation, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way I did my due diligence, I said the only way we can really show that athletes are not getting what you're telling everyone that you're giving them is to show that there's a college university that's been frauding athletes for 20 plus years, telling them that they're getting a world-class education when you're giving them free courses, you're giving them free grades, and you're just boosting up your graduation rate so that kids keep coming back to the school. And you're filtering them through African American studies courses because no one would question a bunch of black kids taking black courses to learn more about their culture.
Wow.
And they got off scot-free.
Well, how did that happen? Tell everybody how University of North Carolina, one of the biggest institutions in the country, or most popular institutions in the country, could get off scot-free with basically having hundreds of kids take courses that they really never had to show up to class.
Well, when you have a $30 million budget of damage control, you can make anything happen.
Wow. Wow. So what was it like? What was it like being a part of the university? Because you and your little sister are former ball players and professional ball players that played at North Carolina. So University of North Carolina is a big part of your family. So
absolutely.
What was it like dealing with that community after this became public knowledge?
Well, I haven't been personally. My family lives there,
right?
So me living there, hadn't been living there for years. I'm probably the only Carolina player in history that resides on the West Coast for a living, and really is more of a West Coast guy than he is the East Coast guy.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to my sister, she got stuck in the aftermath. She was supposed to go to Tennessee. She wanted to follow in my footsteps, wear my number. That's how we grew up. We're kind of what you call Irish twins.
Mm-hmm.
So she wanted to continue our legacy, and we created a real big legacy, being the first brother and sister on the cover of Sports Illustrated, being the first brother and sister of McDonald's All-Americans, being the first brother and sister drafted to the same team. Like, we did a lot, and we had nothing to be ashamed of. So when it comes to North Carolina and how everything played out there, my sister went through a lot as far as, the backlash. And she was the one who did all the good stuff. She did it right.
Right.
And she had people spitting on her. We had death threats. We had a lot of things because these fans, they go to a certain extent to the point where you got to kind of defend yourself and make, remind them that this is reality and that we're not playing no games over here when it comes to reality.
Wow.
This ain't something on TV.
Real quick,
anymore.
we've been talking about elite athletes considering HBCUs as a vehicle for getting them to the next level. Being that you went through so much, what is there anything that you would have done differently?
And a lot of them in North Carolina.
Right. Is there anything that you would have done differently? And what's your thoughts on the fact that HBCUs offer an opportunity to play at the next level while being in a much more, what would you say, supportive environment?
Man, I would say you guys are touching in certain points of, very sensitive topics right now. I love it. So I talk about this in my book, Plantation Education. And the HBCUs I always thought was something my dad introduced me to early on. He introduced me to Grambling.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to always play Southern. And those two teams, as far as, historical black colleges, at that age is the only two I knew. And Grambling was more football. So as I got older and I realized this whole system, this whole farm system, and how it's only really protecting these universities, prestigious universities who had been around from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And these HBCUs are not being promoted or funded properly enough to even offer scholarships to guys like myself or anything else. So I would have went to a HBCU if I didn't get no letter from an HBCU. So I think that their mentality when it comes to how they try to recruit these players comes from, okay, is this a popular market for these players? Is this something that they're interested in? Do real athletes like these guys want to go to all black universities? Unless it's one of the ones where you got to go just to get back to a Louisville or North Carolina. Or you got to go down here to UNC Central for a year, and then you can go back up.
Well, I can tell you they were likely, from a recruiting perspective, intimidated very much by you as a player. And typically, they probably thought they didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of you considering them. I mean, everything would have been different, Rashad. Your trip. I mean, you know, if you think about how UNC set it out for you, I mean, you know, Grambling, they can set it. You have a great time and be some pretty girls around, but it wouldn't be the same.
You probably went to the steakhouse. Huh. Well, we went to White Castles on my recruit trip to Kentucky State.
Yeah,
we went to White Castles.
Yeah.
We
went to on mine. We went to Sissy's Sub Shop.
Oh man!
So, bruh, you would have had to go to class. You would have had to.
Yeah.
You would have had to, you know, figure out how you was gonna get some money on the weekend to pay for.
You got to understand, man. When guys make these decisions, all those aspects play a huge part.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And unfortunately for me, I never got courted. Well, I got courted one time outside of the recruiting system of, okay, we'll pay you if you come here. And it just didn't make sense to me. But that was the only situation where somebody in a conversation would mention something like that. So seeing how the recruiting is done now, like the HBCUs would have to have a real budget.
Right.
And they would have to know something about how to market these players to get them nationally known, because if they're playing at HBCU and they ain't never on TV, you ain't never going to see why he should be the number one pick.
Clearly, they got a lot to work on, and we've talked about that too. Right. But in we got about 40 seconds left, Rashad. Talk about what you're doing now and what's happening in your life.
Well, right now, man, we're working on the biggest multimedia platform that's ever seen the planet. It's called Members Only, and it's a virtual reality platform for everyone to enjoy tutorials and live events, performances, so on and so forth. And I have a vegan energy shot called Vegano Energy. Look out for that. It'll be in stores everywhere soon.
So you're doing plant-based diet?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Rashad McCants, thank you, man. We appreciate your story. We appreciate your openness and your candor, and certainly we appreciate you being with us here on R&R on Sports. And this is like the Cosa Nostra, my brother. You can never get away from us. So we're gonna ask.
I'm here.
I'm
here, man. I need some more of these laughters. And check out my book.
Cool.
my book too, man. My book is on plantation. My book is called Plantation Education. It's
Where
on
can
Amazon.
they get it?
It's on Amazon, and it's on all e-book platforms. You can get it everywhere. But
give them the name. I like that name. Give them the name again.
Plantation Education.
All right.
Well, there it is.
All right.
There it is.
All right. We'll be back for more. All right, we appreciate you, man. We'll be back for more R&R on Sports after this.
Hey, this is Howard Robertson with R&R on Sports.
And I'm the most amazing Larry Robinson.
For the best entertainment you can imagine, download the Kazookian app and get R&R on Sports.
Download it from the Google Play Store or the App Store. Android, Google Play, iOS, App Store. Get it.
R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports.
Welcome back.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family.
MIC, see you real soon.
KEY.
Why? Because we love you.
MOUSE.
Okay, so fully 1/3 of our listeners don't know what the hell we just did. All right, so we're going to leave it there. We look it up, Google it. Shout outs to positive, all good shout outs, beginning with world-class athletic performances.
Yes, sir.
That includes Noah Lyles.
Yes, sir.
That includes Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yes, sir.
And they are
the great Simone Biles.
I was getting to her.
The phenomenal, world-class GOAT of all GOATs, and that's greatest of all times. If people don't know what GOAT mean, Simone Biles.
That's it. Oh, incredible. Nobody can do. I mean, her level of excellence is so out of sight.
She'll do 50 million turns and flips in the air and just land and don't even step back or don't move to the side.
Now I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. Everybody's saying, it's so good. She recovered from the twisties and all of that. But when you got a good man.
Straighten it out.
When you got a good man.
She wouldn't got
when you got your boo right there.
I was married now. I was married now, y'all. The twisties are gone.
That's right. That twisties, all of a sudden, twisties had to get up. But look, I wanna mention Noah Lyles is floating the idea that the NBA champs should call themselves world champs.
Okay. Shouldn't call themselves world. They shouldn't call themselves.
They shouldn't call themselves world champs
because it's the United States.
I agree with that. National Basketball Association
I don't agree with that.
Is the National Basketball Association, and they don't play other folk. That's called the Olympics.
But this is the most internationally influenced game. The NBA has,
Larry, but
the MVPs for the last few years have been international players.
Spain and Poland and Serbia.
You got Luka doing
all
this
of
thing.
Them, they don't play
doing this thing.
They don't play in the NBA.
You got Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
You got international players. You got the best in the world. That's what these academies are for. That's happening in Africa. Like they got this 16-year-old kid that's 7'2" that's doing his thing. So I disagree with Noah.
I agree with Noah Lyles. I agree.
I do not.
That
we're gonna have to talk
he
about
and
this.
Sha'Carri, they beat an international field. They are indeed world champs.
And so you telling me that Denver Nuggets did not have international players? You telling me?
I'm not saying they didn't have international. They didn't play international competition because it just isn't like that.
There are two players. One was from Canada. The other one's from Serbia or some damn way.
Whoa. You want a ooh-wee badge?
No,
okay.
I'm just saying
you got a couple of
and there's plenty of
players.
International players. I can name many.
But they didn't play international teams. So, we got to go. You talk too much, man. You just went off on a tangent, and now the producer is upset because we over time.
Well,
you've been listening to R&R on sports on the Kazukian Network. We got to go. I'm Howard Robertson.
And I'm the great one, Larry Robinson.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Damn it.
R&R is hosted by Larry Robinson and Howard Robertson. R&R is directed, produced, recorded, and distributed by Kazukian.